Making the headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen presides over the handover ceremony for over 500,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines donated by Hungary. Prime Minister Hun Sen states that Cambodia is monitoring the war between Russia and Ukraine to formulate economic policies to put in place the necessary intervention measures in a timely manner. Chinese Foreign Ministry announces that it firmly rejects U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's comment that China's unwillingness to condemn Russia is inconsistent with China's position on the UN Charter. Chelsea coach pays tribute to everyone at the football club after the defending champions reached the Champions League quarterfinals. And Polish representative Karolina Białowska is crowned Miss World 2021. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Darshana Gauchan.
Chinese President Xi Jinping confirmed to Prime Minister Hun Sen that China will provide an additional 20 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to Cambodia. This statement was made during a bilateral meeting between the Prime Minister Hun Sen and the Chinese President Xi Jinping by telephone on the afternoon of 18th of March 2022. Of the 20 million doses, 5 million will arrive in Cambodia by the end of March, he said. In the same meeting, there was also discussion on the construction of the COVID-19 vaccine factories in Cambodia in the near future. Currently, Cambodia has nearly 10 million doses of vaccines available in its warehouse, while more than 92% of total population of 16 million people have been vaccinated.
Prime Minister Hun Sen officially received over 500,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines donated by Hungary on Friday morning. The vaccine shipment had arrived in the kingdom earlier this week on Tuesday, 15th March. EAC News reporter Dekanin has further details.
Speaking at the handover ceremony this morning, the advisor and charge d'affaires of the Embassy of Hungary in Cambodia, Istvan Barkos, said that as a friend of the kingdom, Hungary is pleased to support Cambodia in its effort to fight COVID-19 and reduce the negative impact of the pandemic on the lives of the Cambodians. He said that the donation of more than 500,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines today is a new step in bilateral cooperation between Cambodia and Hungary. Added that Hungary is committed to assisting Cambodia's development for the mutual benefit of both countries. At the handover ceremony, Prime Minister Hun Sen thanked the government and people of Hungary for the humanitarian gestures extended to Cambodia as well as to the world. He stressed that vaccination is Cambodia's top priority in preventing the spread of COVID-19 and reopening socio-economic conditions. He said Cambodia is expected to be able to restore and stimulate economic growth by improving key economic drivers affected by COVID-19 and finding new potential drivers from other sectors. This is the second vaccine donation made to Cambodia from a European member state after Poland, who donated 300,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine in February. Currently, the vaccine stock in Cambodia is close to 10 million doses, while the kingdom still plans to buy an additional 3 million doses for extra vaccine security. Some countries have pledged to provide more vaccines to Cambodia, including China, who has pledged to send 5 million vaccines in the first half of 2022. Cambodia has so far vaccinated more than 92% of the total population of 16 million people aged 3 and above. Dekanin, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has stated while the Cambodian economy is recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic, a new issue the country must monitor is the war between Russia and Ukraine, which is likely to have a negative impact on global economic growth, including Cambodia. He revealed that the royal government is monitoring this case to formulate policies and to put in place the necessary intervention measures in a timely manner. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
Speaking at the handover ceremony of more than 500,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines donated by Hungary at the Peace Palace on Friday morning, Prime Minister Hun Sen said that Cambodia expects to be able to restore and stimulate economic growth by improving key economic barriers affected by COVID-19 and identifying potential new events in other sectors. He said that although the economy in the tourism sector has not yet recovered, other key sectors are recovering and promoting continuous growth, which ended Cambodia's economy and to achieve a growth of 3% in 2021, which may increase up to 5% in 2022. However, the Prime Minister expressed concern that the conflict between Russia and Ukraine could be a major challenge for the world economy.
ជាមួយគ្នានេះភាពមិនប្រកបវិជ្ជានៅមានបន្តក្នុងកម្រិតគួរឲ្យបារម្ភដោយសារការកើនឡើងនៅបញ្ហាប្រឈមនានាផ្សេងទៀតជាក់ស្ដែងចំនួនរវាងអ៊ុយក្រែនរុស្ស៊ីនឹងអាចជះឥទ្ធិពលអវិជ្ជមានលើកំណើនសេដ្ឋកិច្ចសកលនិងសេដ្ឋកិច្ចកម្ពុជាប្រសិនបើចំនួននេះនៅបន្តអូសបន្លាយទៅមុខទៀតក្នុងន័យនេះកម្ពុជាបាននឹងកំពុងតាមដានយ៉ាងយកចិត្តទុកដាក់ចំពោះបញ្ហាប្រឈមទាំងនេះដើម្បីរៀបចំគោលនយោបាយនិងដាក់ចេញនូវវិធានការអន្តរាគមន៍ចាំបាច់ឲ្យបានតាន់ពេលវេលា
On 24th of February, Russia launched a large-scale attack on Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin has cited the need to denuclearize Ukraine to protect the Donbas Republic and ensure Russia would not under NATO threat from the Ukraine territory as the reason for the launch of Russia's military operation. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has led to a series of US-led sanctions on Russia from the West and ultimately on Russian oil and gas companies, which has provided the country its main source of income. These sanctions have had secondary effects of spreading to the crisis of Ukraine across the world, as oil prices continue to rise and hurt the economy as well as people's livelihoods. The current crisis is also affecting the price of fuel in Cambodia, which is currently stands at 5,300 riel per litre for both regular gasoline and diesel. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has urged relevant officials to find ways to reopen the Cambodian embassy in Hungary to boost relations between the two countries. EAC News reporter Stripo Kong has more details.
Speaking at the handover ceremony of more than 500,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccine donated by Hungary at the Peace Palace on Friday morning, Prime Minister Hun Sen said that he encouraged the reopening of both the Cambodian and Hungarian embassy in each respective country, as Cambodia and Hungary enter a new chapter in the history of their diplomatic relationship. Cambodia-Hungary diplomatic relation were established on 20 September 1956. This relationship was severed during the Khmer Rouge from 1975 to 1979, but then resumed after the fall of the regime. In November 2020, during the Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter C. Czarto's visit to Cambodia, he expressed his desire to reopen the Hungarian embassy in Cambodia after a 25-year hiatus. This intention was welcomed by the Cambodian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhonn. Sripokong, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has said that he welcomes and encourages the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to promote all cooperation between the two countries, especially in the fields of tourism, agriculture, and trade. This encouragement comes after the Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia, Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud, arrived in Cambodia for an official visit and met with Prime Minister Hun Sen at the Peace Palace in Phnom Penh on Friday afternoon. The Saudi Arabian Foreign Minister said that his visit to Cambodia is intended to strengthen the economy and the relationship of the two countries. After the meeting, Prime Minister Hun Sen's personal assistant, Ieng Sopalet, told reporters, through talks with the Cambodian Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhonn, it was concluded that our two countries, Cambodia and Saudi Arabia, have great potential for cooperation in tourism, education and energy, agriculture, and other sectors. In this sense, Prince Faisal showed respect and requested support from Prime Minister Hun Sen. The Prime Minister's assistant added that after receiving this request, Prime Minister Hun Sen welcomed and encouraged Saudi Arabia to prepare a plan to accelerate the work to be achieved. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud, led a delegation to pay an official visit to the Kingdom of Cambodia on Friday, 18th March. During the visit, the Prince held a bilateral meeting with Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhonn to discuss various aspects of relations and cooperation, as well as regional and international issues of common interest and concern. The Cambodian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has said the Saudi Arabian Foreign Minister's visit to Cambodia will further strengthen the existing relations and good cooperation between the two kingdoms for the mutual benefit of both countries. The Director General of the General Department of Agriculture, Nguyen Chai, said while speaking at a press conference on Friday that even though Cambodia has established free trade agreements with other countries, such as China and also South Korea, this does not mean that exporting goods will automatically become easier. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
At a press conference on the conditions, quality, response and equal agricultural products related to the Cambodia-Korea-China Free Trade Agreements on Friday, 18th of March. The Director General of the General Department of Agriculture of Ministry of Agriculture, Nguyen Chai, said that in order to facilitate the export of Cambodian agricultural products to international markets, it is necessary to meet 4 factors, including how to make the good quality products with high hygiene standards, low cost and competitive transport. He continued that although Cambodia has established free trade agreements with other countries, which allows for free trade in agricultural products with lower tariffs or no tariffs at all, this still does not mean that all exports will come easy, as Cambodia will still need to meet technical and phytosanitary conditions that require a lot of careful attention while exporting goods. He said in order to maximize the benefits of free trade agreement, all stakeholders need to be involved in addressing relative issues such as trade facilitation, monitoring and evaluation, market accuracy and standardization, production capacity, in particular hygiene and phytosanitary standards, food safety and addressing technical barriers to trade are export requirements Cambodia must meet. According to Nguyen Chai, the goal to adequately meet sanitary and phytosanitary requirements involves the development of effective agricultural production system based on the development of agricultural value chains. This includes forming priority prices and strengthening coordination and investigations or completing them. He added that each of the relevant national ministries and institutions thus will need to be strengthened the partnership between the public, private, producer communities and development partners. Based on the National Hygiene Database, agricultural exports in Cambodia in 2021 tolerated 7.98 million tonnes, exporting to 68 countries. This is an increase of 3.1 million tonnes, equivalent to 63.83% over the same period of time in 2020, which saw a total of 4.87 million tonnes of exports. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The 2022 spring equinox will occur this coming Monday, 21st March, where temple-goers in Siem Reap will get to behold the mesmerizing sight of the sun rising exactly over the central peak of Angkor Wat. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis will tell you more.
An eclipse is when the geometric center of the sun crosses the equator line of the Earth, an event which occurs twice a year. The March eclipse, also known as the spring or vernal eclipse, makes the first day of spring in the Northern Hemisphere. The archaeologist of the head of the Department of the Preservation of the Temples in Angkor Park and Preservative Archaeology of the Adspara Authority, Im Sokodati, has confirmed that the temple goers can witness the sunrise exactly over the central peak of Angkor Wat twice a year during the Tuchel eclipse. He added that the alignment of the sun with Angkor Wat temples is not a coincidence, but rather a feature of the brilliant architectural design, mathematical calculations and astronomical considerations of the Khmer ancestors who initially planned for it, positioned and built the temples to have the sun rise exactly over the top of Angkor Wat during the occurrence of the eclipse to highlight this natural phenomenon. He said that this special event is a miracle that can maybe only be witnessed at Angkor Wat Temple in Cambodia. In 2022, the special sunrise event over Angkor Wat can be witnessed during the 2 eclipses of the year, the first of the 21st of March and the second on the 22nd of September. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported 148 new COVID-19 cases, including 38 which are imported. There have been 281 patient recoveries and no new deaths. With testing restrictions lifted, it is now a fairly hassle-free entry to Cambodia for foreign travelers. But imported Omicron cases continue to rise. The kingdom recorded 110 new community and 38 new imported cases of the new variant, meaning that Cambodia has now recorded 14,331 cases of Omicron, 1,310 imported and 13,021 community cases. Cambodia's COVID-19 case tally has now climbed to 134,772. The death toll stands at 3,049. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 130,688, and the tally for imported cases has climbed to 21,167. Healthcare workers are currently treating a total of 959 patients. And now for a look at news-making international headlines this Friday, 18th March.
A fire at Walmart distribution center spewed out a large and dense dark cloud of smoke on Wednesday, March 16, in Plainfield, Indiana. How the blaze got started Wednesday still wasn't clear, but luckily the 1,000 employees at this Walmart distribution center made it out safely. A firefighter received what was described as a minor injury. Some employees say the lack of injuries is because of emergency training the employees had just had a few days before Wednesday's fire. We thought it was another training until we were out and we saw the black smoke coming out from the roof, one of the employees has said. We didn't see smoke when we were outside, and then when we heard the noise, which was like a crisp explosion, that's when we got scared and we all started running, another employee recalls. The fire has started on the second floor from the area that is specifically for keeping chemicals and products related to chemicals.
A footage taken on Thursday, March the 17th shows the damage caused by a strong earthquake which had struck shortly before midnight in northeastern Japan. A derailed bullet train was seen on the bridge which had sections of concrete eroded from its pillars. A local culture centre had parts of its roof littered over the seats inside its auditorium. 4 people have died and at least 107 people reported injured, several seriously, with 4,300 households also still without water by mid-morning. The tremor has received memories of Japan's biggest quake of magnitude of 9.1, which struck on March 11, 2011, in the same area of which includes Fukushima Prefecture and nuclear power plant crippled by the tsunami and meltdown.
An armored garments manufacturer has increased its efforts to meet the surging demand for body armor from Ukraine. Miguel Caballero, a bulletproof clothing producer, has received bulletproof vests and helmets orders from the United States, Spain, the United Kingdom, and Belgium governments to be donated to Ukraine. The executive president and founder of Miguel Caballero MC Armor, Miguel Caballero, has said there was over-demand for their products since the war broke out in Ukraine. He has also said that their mission is to protect the life of the human being. It is to give people a second chance. His workers and him are aware of what they are doing. They tried their best and complied with the demands of a prompt and efficient signature. As a Colombian, I leave a factory that knows how to do things and hopes to leave a legacy to my country of high-quality protection elements. So far, we have sent 6 packages, a total of 2,400 vests and 2,400 helmets to Ukraine, he has added. The Colombian company has been manufacturing armored garments for 30 years, with 470 employees and averages $10 million a year. Its products are used by over 40 heads of state, among which are presidents, kings, and personalities around the world.
The Chinese Foreign Ministry has announced on Thursday, March 17th, that it firmly rejects U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's comment that China's unwillingness to condemn Russia is inconsistent with China's position on the UN Charter.
The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Zhao Lijian, say at a regular press conference that China has noticed that when U.S. Secretary of State Blinken made such a statement, he falsely claimed that China was on the wrong side of history. Such remarks are not helpful for solving the problem, and China firmly opposes it. Zhao has added that China always believes that sovereignty and territorial integrity of states should be upheld. In an interview with U.S. nonprofit radio network NPR on Wednesday, March 16, Blinken has said the fact that China has not stood strongly against Russia's aggression in Ukraine flies in the face of China's commitments as a permanent member of the UN Security Council responsible for maintaining peace and security.
President Joe Biden has announced an additional $800 million in security assistance to Ukraine on Wednesday, March 16th, even as his position on a no-fly zone did not change after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's urgent appeal to the U.S. Congress for military help to fend off a Russian invasion. Addressing Zelensky's remarks in his speech, Biden has said the United States has offered Ukraine $1 billion in security aid, adding that America will continue to give Ukraine weapons to fight and defend themselves, offer humanitarian relief, and also support Ukraine's economy with additional financial assistance.
The new package on its own is going to provide unprecedented assistance to Ukraine and includes 100 anti-aircraft systems to stop Russian planes and helicopters attacking Ukrainians. At Zelensky's request, Washington will help Ukraine acquire additional long-range missile anti-aircraft systems. It will also supply 9,000 anti-armor systems, drones, and 7,000 small arms such as machine guns, shotguns, and grenade launchers that will help civilians fighting to defend their country.
Now I'm once again using my presidential authority to activate an additional security assistance to continue to help Ukraine fend off Russia's assault. An additional $800 million in assistance. That brings the total of new U.S. security assistance to Ukraine to $1 billion just this week. These are direct transfers of equipment from our Department of Defense to the Ukrainian military to help them as they fight against this invasion. And I thank the Congress for appropriating these funds. This new package on its own is going to provide unprecedented assistance to Ukraine. It includes 800 anti-aircraft systems to make sure the Ukrainian military can continue to stop the planes and helicopters that have been attacking their people and to defend their Ukrainian airspace. And at the request of President Zelensky, we have identified and are helping Ukraine acquire additional longer-range anti-aircraft systems and the munitions for those systems. And this will include drones, which demonstrates our commitment to sending our most cutting-edge systems to Ukraine for its defense. And we're not doing this alone. Our allies and partners have stepped up to provide significant shipments of security assistance and will continue to help facilitate these deliveries as well. The United States and our allies and partners are fully committed to surging weapons of assistance to the Ukrainians. And more will be coming as we source additional stocks of equipment that we're ready to transfer. Now I want to be honest with you. This could be a long and difficult battle, but the American people will be steadfast in our support of the people of Ukraine in the face of Putin's immoral, unethical attacks on civilian population.
The new funds will come from a spending bill Biden has signed into the law that includes $13.6 billion in new aid to Ukraine. In his address to Congress, Zelensky has compared the attacks in Ukraine to the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor that put the United States into World War II and begged lawmakers and Biden directly for more help. This is a terror that Europe has not seen for 80 years, and they are asking for our life for an answer to this terror from the whole world. Is this a lot to ask for? To create a no-fly zone over Ukraine to save people? Zelensky has asked through its interpreter. If this is too much to ask, we offer an alternative, he has said. You know what kind of defense systems we need, adding that he knows the United States has them. Biden has referred to the creation of a no-fly zone over Ukraine as World War III, and the Pentagon has refused requests to send fighter jets to Ukraine. Earlier on Wednesday, Russia and Ukraine both emphasized newfound scope for compromise as peace talks were set to resume 3 weeks into a Russian assault that has so far failed to topple the Ukrainian government. On Tuesday, the White House has said Biden will travel to Brussels for a March 24 NATO summit on Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which Moscow terms a special military operation to disarm and denazify its neighbor. Biden has ratcheted up sanctions imposed on Russia in recent days. He has called for a suspension of Russia's trading status that affords its exported products lower tariffs in the international arena and announced a ban on Russian oil and other energy exports.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said on Wednesday, March 16th, that the West needed to end its dependency on Russian energy, as it allowed Russian President Vladimir Putin to hold them ransom. Johnson has arrived in the United Arab Emirates and will later visit Saudi Arabia as part of efforts to secure additional oil flows to replace Russian hydrocarbons and increase diplomatic pressure on Russian President Vladimir Putin over his invasion of Ukraine.
United Kingdom's Premier has promised to set out a new national energy strategy next week and highlighted a new Saudi investment in a green aviation fuel program in Britain. Johnson has also confirmed that Ukraine would not be joining NATO anytime soon, adding the decision on the future of Ukraine was for the people of Ukraine and not Moscow.
So if you look at what Putin's doing in Ukraine, it's causing global uncertainty and a spike in the price of oil. That feeds through to the forecourts in the UK. Everybody can see the effect of the increase in gas prices. That's coming through, and we've got to make sure that we're prepared and that we're taking steps to mitigate that, to help people with the cost of living. So next week we're going to be setting out the energy strategy for the UK. Massive jump forward on renewables, more nuclear, using our own hydrocarbons more effectively. Also looking at what we can do to source hydrocarbons from places other than Russia. We've got to get off Russian hydrocarbons. We need to double the pace of our construction of wind farms. We're already one of the biggest producers of offshore wind power in the world. When we look at the dependency that the West in particular has built up on Putin's hydrocarbons, on Putin's oil and gas, we can see what a mistake that was, because he's been able to blackmail the West to hold Western economies to ransom. We need independence.
After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
Chelsea coach Thomas Tuchel paid tribute to everyone at Chelsea after the defending champions reached the Champions League quarter-finals following a week of turmoil off the pitch.
The London club, operating on a special licence from the British government that limited their spending and impact their operations after sanctions against Russian owner Roman Abramovich following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, won 2-1 at Lille to secure a 4-1 arrogant victory. We are all competitors and are always experienced from the day one and very competitive spirit at the club. I think it's so clear what Chelsea demands from every employee and player. So play your role and play the limit. Tuchel, who led Chelsea to the European title in his first season in charge, told News Conference. Everybody plays a huge part at the moment. Everyone around the team, the whole 80 people who work at Cobham. We are competitive and we are competitive no matter what. Chelsea proved in the Perry Murray Stadium with a ruthless performance with Christian Publics and Chelsea Apelkitics, according to either side, interval to make the most of their opponent's lapse in concentration.
Thanks for ruining my evening.
At the moment, unless you get a new owner, that's the case. How much of a setback is that?
Well,
Gary, at the moment, we've just come off the pitch.
I was in such a good mood.
So, yeah.
Can we speak about it when it's confirmed?
Yeah.
It is confirmed.
Okay.
So let's wait for the confirmation of the confirmation. Well, let's see. I mean, today I'm happy that we are in the last 8. Last 8 is top again, and a lot of things to overcome, and so happy and so proud. So let's see. It's the first thing that I hear now, and yes, and in 3 days we play Middlesbrough in the cup, and then we have a national break, and then I think about a good answer. It is so clear. Chelsea is so clear what it demands from every employee and from every player. So play your role and play it to the limit and live up to it and take your responsibility. And this is what Chelsea is about, and that sharpens your mentality and that brings out the best in you, because it's normal to do it on a daily basis. And because this mentality is installed over years and years and a decade, that's why it's possible that we can stay focused. It plays a big part in why we can stay focused and produce results as we do in the moment now, when things are uncertain and things are unstable around us, because it's already there and we live it on a daily basis. Of course, we try to encourage the players and to support the players in the best way possible. But still, I'm very proud that they can do it like this, and everybody plays a huge part in at the moment. It's about responsibility also. We have the responsibility. We are still I feel still very, very privileged. I think everybody is still very privileged. So we take the responsibility that we have. Once you work for Chelsea, this is what you do. And you adapt to the level of talent, be it a player or a coach or a member of staff. That's once you work for Chelsea, you work at the limit, and this is what you do on a daily basis. And this is what helps. We stick together and try to overcome the situation together. That helps also, that we don't do individual sport. And I'm very proud. I'm very happy.
Regardless of the result, Tuchel said the context would not provide him with excuses, and his team is focused on the pitch performance. There's always a thin line as to why things are different and excuses. We have a responsibility and we take that. Once you work for Chelsea, you work at the limit, and it's what you will do daily basis. Looking ahead of the quarterfinals, the German said Chelsea would again be tough to beat. I want us to be the team nobody wants to play. That's the role we want to see ourselves in the last 8, he said.
West Ham United defender Kurt Zouma and his brother Johan are set to be charged under the Animal Welfare Act after they posted a video that showed them abusing a pet cat, according to animal charity RSPCA.
The viral video filmed by Johan and posted on social media last month showed Kurt dropping the tabby cat and kicking it across the floor. Following a full and thorough investigation, we have started the process of bringing a prosecution against Kurt Zuma and Johan Zuma under the Animal Welfare Act, an RSPCA spokesperson said. The two cats continue to be cared for by the RSPCA. We will be in a position to release more information once a court date is confirmed. West Ham said they were aware of the RSPCA statement and said Kurt was cooperating fully with the investigation. It is our understanding that Kurt's cats have been checked by a vet, are in good health, and have suffered no physical injuries, the club said in a statement. For legal reasons, neither Kurt or the club will be making any further comment at this time. The video caused outrage and led to club sponsors cutting ties with Kurt's Premier League club, West Ham, while Adidas also dropped their sponsorships of the defender. However, he continued to be selected by manager David Moyes. West Ham said Zuma was fined the maximum amount possible last month, with British media reporting the fine was 2 weeks' wages. The 27-year-old who apologized had accepted the fine, which was to be donated to animal welfare charities. Johan had been dropped by his club Dagenham and Ridgebreed after the allegation last month, but the fifth-tier side said he will now be available to play. Dagenham and Ridgebreed FC note the decision of the RSPCA to charge Johan Zuma under the Animal Welfare Act 2006, they said in a statement. 4 weeks have now elapsed, however, since the incident, and the club feels that any further suspension from the team would be detrimental to both the club and Johan. A decision has been made, therefore, for Johan to be available to play.
Rafael Nadal toppled big-serving American Riley Opelka 7-6, 7-6 to remain perfect on the year, while unseeded Serbian Miomir Kekmanovic stunned world number 6 Matteo Berrettini 6-3, 6-7, 6-4 in the fourth round of Indian Wells.
Despite Opelka's serve reaching speeds as high as 147 miles per hour, the Spaniard was better in their rallies, dictating points and electing errors from the baseline. After a high-level first set, Nadal wobbled in the second, play a sloppy service game to go down a break 3-2, and he tapped his head in frustrations during the changeover. But he regained his focus, breaking back to level at 4-4 and remaining perfect on the serve in the second tiebreaker. He sealed the victory with a beautiful constructed point that pushed Opelka off the court. He is a very difficult player to play against with his huge serve and huge forehand, but I think I played my best match of the tournament so far, Nadal said in an on-court interview. Nadal stood as far back off the baseline as the court would allow on his returns and often had to hit them at head height or higher. It's not only about the speed, the spin is also sometimes difficult to read. Sometimes it's coming with top spin, but sometimes with slice. It's a great victory for me against one of the toughest opponents I can play, and I'm very happy. I can't thank you enough for all the positive energy that I received every single day here. Nadal is 19-0 to start the season, and if he can win his fourth title in the California desert, he will move into tie with Novak Djokovic for the most Masters, 1,000 titles with 37. Rafael Nadal dug deep last night to beat the merciful wildcard Nick Kyrgios 7-6, 5-7, 6-4 in a blockbuster quarterfinal match that lived up to the hype at Indian Wells.
And now for a look at how the weather will be playing out tomorrow. And finally, Polish representative Karolina Białowska wins Miss World 2021, which was held in Puerto Rico on Wednesday, 16 March 2022. The 23-year-old model, who is studying for her master's degree in administration, was surprised and honored to be crowned Miss World.
The 70th edition of the Miss World Beauty pageant was postponed from December 2021 due to the coronavirus outbreak, where a number of contestants and staff contracted COVID-19. The pageant was finally held this year at the Coca-Cola Music Hall in Puerto Rico. Miss World musical director Angkor conducted musical performances by the Puerto Rico Philharmonic Orchestra. Miss World 2019 Tony Ann Singh also performed a song for peace. Meanwhile, there was no representative for Miss World 2020 as the pageant was cancelled that year due to the pandemic. This year, because of a tie, the top 12 included 13 candidates from Vietnam, Mexico, Northern Ireland, Philippines, Poland, Somalia, United States, Colombia, Czech Republic, France, India, Indonesia, and the Ivory Coast. During the round of questions, Białowska said she would like to learn to be more empathetic and compassionate.
Every day we learn something new, and we all have unique experiences, and all of us can learn something about ourselves. And to be more authentic and personal, what I've discovered is that it costs us so little to enrich the life of others, and this is the cost that we can all afford, and believe me, it's worth its price. So if you would like to discover something new, just try to learn to be rich more in empathy, in compassion.
Sri Saini from America finished as the first runner-up, while Olivia Yassé from Ivory Coast finished as the second runner-up.
Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, you can check out our website, eacnews.asia, or search EAC News on Telegram or at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We will see you then.